DeSantis trans healthcare bans are partially struck down by federal judge. A ruling from the U.S. District Court Judge Robert Hinkle today grants a preliminary injunction that blocks enforcement of a law signed by Governor Ron DeSantis and rules from the Florida Department of Medicine. Those rules prevent a group of trans youth who sued the state from accessing widely accepted care, including puberty blockers and hormone therapy, and the ban on treatment has been paused while their legal challenge plays out. In his ruling, Judge Hinkle writes, quote, "The elephant in the room should be noted at the outset. Gender identity is real. The record makes this clear. The medical defendants, speaking through their attorneys, have admitted it. Still, an unspoken suggestion running just below the surface in some of the proceedings that led to adoption of the statute and rules at issue, and just below the surface in the testimony of some of the defense experts, is that transgender identity is not real, that it is made up. Any proponent of the challenged statute and rules should put up or shut up. Do you acknowledge that there are individuals with actual gender identities opposite their natal sex, or do you not? Dog whistles ought not be tolerated." End quote. Oh my goodness.
That was so
It's
hot.
an interesting position of the judge because, first, this is not a state court. It is a federal court.
Mm-hmm.
And just like the stay that we saw this week in Tennessee, a federal court challenge on constitutionality is much, much harder than a supermajority GOP evangelical-led state house. Nashville in Tennessee is going to have difficulties. Tallahassee in Florida is going to have difficulties. Austin in Texas is going to have difficulties when it starts into the federal circuit. Now, the question here is on the stay and the hearing of what would happen, because it's going to be challenged and challenged beyond into the courts, but to the Supreme Court. But I continue to say, wow, what amazing news in June Pride Month this is, because the federal courts are going to say you have constitutional obligations to move beyond the vagueness of your law. When you pass a law about drag in Florida that is designed to prevent performance of drag and not use the word drag in your bill, you're unconstitutionally vague, which is what the federal court said on Tennessee. When you make the exact same decision on trans to deny in a sub form of disguise conversation that identity doesn't exist, a federal judge is going to stay it, which is what happened today. Let's not count our chickens before they hatch.
The 11th Circuit is just around the corner.
But the news is exceptionally good.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, who else really enjoys it when Ron Dion gets slapped on the wrist? It's really nice to see that.
Yeah.
Well, again, it's another reminder of why voting matters. And this judge was a Clinton appointee. So again, we hate to use the court system to be so political, but obviously the other side has completely politicized the courts. So it's a reminder that we have elections coming up. These judges, Biden is doing a great job of trying to get judges through as many appointees. I think he's set a record for the amount of appointees that he has. So, for all those out there that were not excited by Biden, especially amongst our own community, I'm speaking to you, this is why it's important, because he is going to appoint judges that are going to support our community.
And let's talk about hypocrites.
Yes.
My friends, Sean and Laura, and used to be Tucker, are saying tonight, I haven't watched them yet, but I will watch them. I guarantee you the lead soundbite that's going to come out of Fox in all three of the major blocks tonight are going to be activist judges. Activist judges. Excuse me, isn't that exactly what you did in the last year and a half of the Obama administration by preventing appointment on the Supreme Court? Activist judges. It's good for you when it's good for you, and not like today. We are Queer News Tonight, the world's first and only live daily LGBTQ+ evening news show from Happening Out Television Network. In the model of PBS and NPR, we educate, inform, and entertain by supporting the 10 pillars of the LGBTQ+ community, with more than 100,000 a week watching on Roku, Apple Television, and other channels. To keep the stories going, we accept donations with 100% transparency. Stay updated and live authentically with Queer News Tonight.